Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be starting with our new batch of taxation for the students of intermediate examination. Those students will be appearing in May 27 examination and onwards. This batch is meant for those students. Basically, now the Total Income Tax Act has been revised. Earlier, Income Tax Act 1961 was applicable, but now the Income Tax Act 2025 would be applicable for the students who will be writing their examination in May 27 and onwards. So, this is a fundamental change. Income Tax Act 2025 same will be applicable for the students who will be writing their examination in May 2027 and onwards. Are you getting? So, you are not required to do the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961, but don't worry. In case you have already gone through the Income Tax Act 1961, then you won't be finding very much difficulty in understanding the Income Tax Act 2025, because the thing is they have made changes in the sections, they have made drafting changes have been there, but the conceptual aspects remains the same. Now, what are the key differences which will be noting? Basic thing is that earlier under the Income Tax Act 1961, we were having the concept of assessment year and previous year. Say, if the previous year is 25-26, so whatever income which you are earning in the previous year 25-26, the same was to be taxed in the assessment year, subsequent financial year, that is assessment year 26-27. So, what was happening was, when the department used to give any notice, then the assessees were confused for which year they have to show the income, for which year's income that notice has come. So, now they have introduced the concept of, instead of this assessment year and previous year, now there is a single concept of what? Tax year. Now we will not be finding the term assessment year and previous year. We won't be finding this term assessment year and previous year. Instead, we will be finding the term tax year. There is a major change. Say, this Income Tax Act 2025 will be applicable from tax year 2026, 27 and onwards. Now, what this term tax year means? So, whatever income is earned from 1/4/2026 up to 31st of March 2027. That is the income which is earned during this year. That means it is tax year 26-27. It will be taxed at the rates which are applicable for the said tax year. So if you are earning any income in from 1/4/2026 to 27. It would be taxed in tax year 26-27. Similarly, if you are earning any income from 1/4/27 to 31st of March 2028, it will be taxed in tax year 27-28. So the concept of previous year and the assessment year has now done away with in this new act, Income Tax Act. Though you will be finding the term financial year, you will be finding financial year will be there. Say if you are required to furnish a return for the tax year 26-27, then in that case you will be furnishing the same in the succeeding financial year, say up to 31st of July of the succeeding financial year, or say 31st of August of the succeeding financial year. So they will be giving the term, they have given the term financial year here. So previous year and assessment year concept has been done away to make a clarity in this particular regard, that whatever income is earned by you from 1/4/2026 to 31st of March 2027, that is the tax year 26-27, that will be taxed at the rates which are applicable for the relevant rates of tax which are applicable for the relevant tax year. So here now, you, for the students who will be writing their examination in May 2027, in May 2027 and onwards, for them the computation will be of the income will be of tax year 26-27. So whatever income is earned by a person from 1/4/2026 to 31st of March 2027, the same will be taxed, and computations will be asked for the applicable tax year in May 27 examination and onwards. Okay. Basically, the concept of tax year is also prevalent in the British law also. They have already introduced the concept of tax year. So on the following lines we are there here. So first of all, it's a first lecture. So we have started with the discussion relating to those Income Tax Act 1961, and then we have gone with the Income Tax Act 2025. So basically what income tax is. So basically income tax is a direct tax. Now let us start. Income tax is a direct tax. We have seen the taxes are of two types. In 9th or 10th class, you have discussed about the same. Taxes are of two types. One is direct tax and other one is the indirect tax. Other one is the indirect tax. Okay. Say direct tax. Basically, it is a tax on a person. It is a tax on a person. Say, if I am earning income, I would be required to pay tax on the same. Okay. Whereas indirect tax is basically tax on goods or say services. Here indirect tax is not a tax on a person. Indirect tax is a tax on goods or services. Now in case of direct tax, the incidence of tax is borne by the same person who pays the tax. Incidence of tax is borne by the same person who pays the tax. Tax incidence does not shift. Say if I am earning an income, say X is earning income of rupees 24 lakhs and his tax liability works out to be 3,12,000 for example. Now this tax of 3,12,000, Mr. X will be required to pay from his income. He cannot shift on the incidence of tax to the other person. Whereas in case of indirect taxes, tax incidence passes on to the person. Here the tax incidence passes on to the person who ultimately consumes goods or services. Who ultimately consumes what? Or say services. Now for example, Mr. X is a service supplier. Now Mr. X supplies services to Mr. Y. Say he is providing accounting or auditing service or beauty treatment service or rent a cab service, and say he is charging 1 lakh for his service which he is providing. 18% is what? The goods and services tax. 18% is the goods and services tax. So when X raises a bill to Mr. Y, how much amount of bill he will raise? He will raise 1,18,000. And this 18,000 is a GST amount. It's a GST amount which will be collected by X from Mr. Y, and Mr. X deposit the same to the government. Basically here the incidence of the tax passes on to the person who ultimately consumes the goods and services. So indirect tax. So direct tax is, say, income tax is a direct tax. Similarly, black money tax is levied under Black Money Act. That is also, say, a direct tax. Whereas indirect taxes like excise duty, custom duty is levied on importation, GST, goods and services tax, in some cases value added tax or central sales tax is levied. These are what? Tax on goods and services. They are what? Indirect taxes. Now here what happens is, in case of direct taxes, there are chances of tax evasion, because when I will be computing my income and then I will be seeing by this much amount of tax paid by me, it may be in my back of mind, how can I evade the tax? Tax evasion is more prone in case of direct taxes, whereas in case of indirect taxes, there are lesser chances of tax evasion. Direct taxes basically are what? Progressive in nature. What is progressive in nature? More the earnings, higher will be the taxes. So if you are earning 4 lakh rupees, you may not be required to pay the tax. From 4 lakhs to 8 lakhs, the rate of tax enhances to, say, 5%. From 8 lakhs to 12 lakhs, it goes to 10%. Then 12 to 16 lakhs, it goes to 15%. Then 16 lakhs to 20 lakhs, it goes to, say, 20 lakhs to 24 lakhs, it is 25%, and above 24 lakhs, it is 30%. Okay. Now, in case of indirect taxes, they are normally regressive in nature. They are regressive in nature. Here, whether is a rich person or poor person, rate of tax remains same. So normally a poor person spends much more portion of their income in paying taxes in comparison to a rich person. Say if he is earning 100 rupees and he is consuming and the rate is 10%, so out of 100 he is required to pay tax of 10. A person who is earning 10,000 rupees and he is also consuming the same thing, he is also consuming the same amount, same thing, then his tax liability is also 10. So incidence of tax on poor person will be higher in comparison to a rich person in case of indirect tax. Then they prove to be inflationary in nature. They prove to be inflationary in nature. So basically when the prices of the commodities increases because of the taxes. So this is a bit framework here which we have discussed. Now here basically the power to levy the taxes. It vests with the, if the subject matter is under union list, then power to make the laws vests with the central government. And income tax is covered under entry 82 of union list, except tax on agricultural income. If agricultural income is there, same is covered under entry 46 of state list. Power vests with whom? Here, the state government to levy tax on the agricultural income. So basically this is a brief overview which we have discussed relating to our starting framework. So here when we go with your division, you have to do both income tax, it is 50 marks portion, okay, and GST, it is also 50 marks portion in intermediate level. At present 30 marks MCQ questions are there. And 70 marks subjective paper is there. And 70 marks subjective paper is there. Now, this is a brief overview in CA final examination. Again, income tax is of 100 marks and goods and services tax is of 100 marks. So basically now the Income Tax Act 2025 will be applicable, which will be now starting our discussion relating to the same.